Hello friends, and thank you so much for joining me today. Do you remember back in the 90s and early 2000s when much of drugstore makeup was, well, quite honestly, a hot mess? It didn't apply very well, it wasn't very long lasting, and for the most part, it just didn't look very good. Well, fortunately, in the mid-2000s, drugstore makeup seemed to flip a switch and transform from caterpillar into a butterfly. But now, with manufacturing costs soaring, drugstore prices are climbing, and drugstore brands are often trying to replicate current high-end makeup trends. So the question is, are drugstore brands still able to give high-end brands a run for their money? And, most importantly, do they work on our mature skin? So our mission today is to answer these questions and discover if some newer drugstore products are indeed worth purchasing, or will they end up just sitting unused in our makeup drawer? And I'll also share some recent great affordable skincare finds. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. And many thanks to those of you who are already part of this family. My name is Elise, and I'm a professional working makeup artist whose focus is on helping those of us with mature skin go from good to gorgeous. And we occasionally also dip our toes into the worlds of fashion and wellness. After applying my coenzyme Q10 and Synthesix serums from Timeless this morning, I applied the Weekend Glow Brightening Serum from the clean beauty drugstore skincare brand Versed. Versed launched in 2019 with the goal of providing clean, effective formulas packaged in environmentally conscious materials at affordable prices. They're dermatologist tested, safe for sensitive skin, vegan, and cruelty-free. And something I personally really love about this brand is that they very clearly state on each of their products who the product is for, how to use it, where to use it, and when to use it. It is absolutely amazing to me that this information is often missing from many skincare products. Versed was very kind to send me the products that I'll be sharing with you today, but I've used a number of their products previously and have had really good experiences with them. Since it's always important to apply our thinnest serums first, I applied 2 pumps of the brightening serum from Versed after my Timeless serums, since this brightening serum has a slightly thicker formula. Let me show you. As you can see, it doesn't easily drip down the back of my hand. This is a daily use antioxidant serum which is formulated with vitamin C to brighten the skin. It also contains licorice root, which helps even out our skin tone, and niacinamide, which provides hydration and more radiance. I like to use it in the morning, but it can be also used at night or both morning and night. 2 more key skincare products from Versed that I'm really liking are their Under Eye Brightening Eye Gel and their moisturizer. And one of the other things I love about this brand is that their packaging is nice, but they don't spend a lot of money on the packaging, which means they can make this product more affordable for all of us. The eye gel is a lightweight caffeine-infused gel which cools on contact with the skin due to this metal-tipped applicator. You first squeeze the tube to dispense the product, then roll the cooling applicator over the under eye area and tap in any excess product. And this feels wonderfully cooling on the skin. Then it's necessary to wait a minute for the eye gel to fully absorb into the skin before applying any other skincare or makeup products. It can be used morning or night or both, and I am really impressed with what a difference it makes. Plus, that cooling tip feels absolutely wonderful. The Skin Soak Moisturizer is ultra hydrating with hyaluronic acid, squalane, sodium hyaluronate, and red algae extract. It's best to warm a dime-size amount between your fingertips and then smooth it into the skin. Feels absolutely wonderful, and although it's very hydrating, it's also very lightweight. And that's important because it means that other products and other makeup will apply over it without sinking into it and disappearing. I found this to be a perfect moisturizer to use under makeup since it's not too heavy. One thing we want to make sure to do is to wait for any skincare ingredients to completely dry before applying any other skincare or makeup. Now this is pretty hard for me to do because frankly I'm a rather impatient person and I want to get my makeup done quickly most of the time. And I also want to mention a couple of other Versed products that I've used in the past which I still continue to use and which I really love. One is their Gentle Retinol Serum, and another one is their Cleansing Balm. Both of these work beautifully. Now you can find Verse products online, or they're also sold through Target stores. Now that the moisturizer is dry, I'm going to apply my Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. Now I was going to combine a couple of drugstore foundations. I absolutely love Catrice's True Skin foundation, and I love to mix it with L'Oreal's Age Perfect foundation. The reason I don't use this Catrice product alone is that it tends to be a little bit too yellow for my skin tone. L'Oreal, unfortunately, is discontinuing their Age Perfect line, so I thought I would go with a product that is still available. I find the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation to be quite a good medium coverage natural finish foundation, which is a medium price foundation at $22. It comes in an amazing 50 shades and is infused with skincare. I have shade 11.5P, which stands for pink, and it's really quite a good shade match for me. You always want to shake up your liquid foundations or any liquid makeup products. And I'm going to just pat it on first where I need the most coverage. You can probably tell just from this that it's a good match for me. All right, let's blend it in. I don't like to bring my foundation under my eyes. I like to just use concealer, and the reason is that the more layers of product we have, the more likely it is to look cakey or not look as natural. So avoiding foundation right under your eyes is something I really recommend, unless you're not going to use concealer. I should mention that all the products that I'm using today are cruelty-free except for this Sephora foundation. And the L'Oreal products are also not cruelty-free. Now, let's take a look at my eye makeup. On one eye, I applied eyeshadow from the $3 I Love You a Latte e.l.f. 4-pan matte eyeshadow palette. And on the other side, I applied eyeshadows from Natasha Denona's new Mini Eye Sculpt eyeshadow palette, which consists of 5 matte shades and cost $27. The one additional shade in the Natasha Denona eyeshadow is a black, which is great for deepening up a look. So the Natasha Denona palette does offer a bit more versatility. However, I didn't use that black shade today since I wanted to create eyeshadow looks which looked almost the same on both eyes. Can you tell which eye has the more expensive Natasha Denona eyeshadow on it? Let's take a closer look. I think they look amazingly similar, but if you guessed my left eye, you would be correct. Although these eyeshadow shades are extremely close, the 3 mid-tone shades in the Natasha Denona palette are slightly darker. As far as how they applied, the formula and whether I experienced any fallout, here's what I discovered. They both glided on extremely well. Part of the reason for that is that after I applied my eye primer, I applied a little bit of powder over my eye primer, and that was to help my eyeshadow glide on more easily. I frankly did not notice any difference whatsoever in how they applied, and as far as the formula goes, they seem to be equally pigmented. Now, I do think the eyeshadows in the e.l.f. product are a little warmer in nature, and the Natasha Denona shadows are a little more neutral. Now, the one thing I have noticed is that occasionally I do feel a little bit of irritation in my eyes when I use the e.l.f. product. So there may be some ingredients in there that can be a little bit challenging if you have really sensitive eyes like I do. But other than that, I think you get an amazing value with these e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows. In a recent video, I mentioned Makeup by Mario's Softsculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum as one of my very favorite contouring bronzing products. It was definitely worth the money. But that was before I found out that e.l.f. recently launched a very similar product. It's their Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour. So let's do a head-to-head test with these two products. This is a Makeup by Mario product in the shade Light Medium. The Makeup by Mario product contains 1.01 fluid ounces, costs $36, and comes in 7 shades. Unfortunately, there's no indication of where the product is made. The e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour sells for $7, comes in 10 shades, but it contains only 0.13 fluid ounces. And it doesn't say where it's made, but it does say that it's made in fair trade certified locations. I wear the shade Light. Well, let's go ahead and apply this so we can compare each of the sides to see how they actually look next to each other. This is the Makeup by Mario product, and it is in Light Medium. And one thing that's great about both of these products is they create some definition, but it is very natural looking. And this is the e.l.f. product. You can see they both apply very easily, blend into the skin with very little effort, which is why both of them are really mistake proof. And this I'm going to bring it down a little bit. So I would say in terms of application, they both apply equally easily. And I always like to take my foundation brush and just go around the edge. First, before we look at each side, let's take a look at the swatches so you can see how close they are in color. This is the Makeup by Mario shade on top and the e.l.f. product is below it. And it looks to me like the Makeup by Mario shade is just a little bit warmer and lighter. The shade I have in the e.l.f. product is light, and the shade I have in the Makeup by Mario product is medium light. All right, this is the Makeup by Mario side, and this is the side with the e.l.f. bronzing and contour liquid. And what you're seeing on this side are age spots that I haven't yet covered with concealer. So to me, it's pretty much a toss-up between these two products. Even though the e.l.f. product is quite a bit less expensive, you get a lot less product. And as always, you'll find links to all of these products that I'm talking about today in the description box below. And you'll also find links in the YouTube shopping guide, which is located directly under this video. Unfortunately, the YouTube guide doesn't always include all of the products that I talk about, but it does include most of them. I recently discovered a drugstore blush duo that was very similar in concept to the high-end blush duos created by makeup artist Patrick Ta. This blush duo is from Catrice. Although Catrice is no longer available at Ulta, which is really a shame, you can easily find most of their products on Amazon as well as on the Catrice website. Both of these brands have created a blush duo that contains a cream blush as well as a powder blush. And although I couldn't find exact shade matches, I did find one that is pretty close. This is the Catrice shade Pleasing Pink, and this is the Patrick Ta shade called She's a Doll. On the left is the cream and the powders on the right. Wow, these colors are a lot closer to each other than I thought they were. The Catrice colors are on top, the cream at the top and the powder underneath it, and the Patrick Ta on the bottom. And again, the cream is on top. And the Patrick Ta shade is She's a Doll. The Catrice duo sells for $7 each and comes in 4 shades: pink, strawberry, apricot, and peach, and weighs in at 6 grams. Catrice is a European clean beauty brand, and interestingly, these blushes from Catrice are made in Italy, which usually means quite high quality. The Patrick Ta blushes come in 18 shades, are made in the US with globally sourced materials, and the weight of his duos has powders and creams listed separately, so it's really difficult to compare the two. I'll apply the Patrick Ta blush on the left side and the Catrice product on the right. Now, Patrick Ta advises to apply the powder first and then apply the cream over the powder. So that's how I'm going to apply both of these products. I dipped in 3 times to the Catrice palette. This is the powder. And as you can see, it's not heavily pigmented, but a nice pigmentation. And then I'm just going to tap, I am going to just tap over it with the cream. And the cream is far more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. That is really a pretty color. And again, I'm going to apply a little bit more just because of the bright lights. It doesn't show up as well. For you, it's showing up very pink for me. And here is the Patrick Ta powder. Again, very easy to apply. I think it is a little bit more pigmented than the Catrice, but not a lot. And then I'll apply the cream over it, and just like the Catrice, the cream is much more highly pigmented, and I'll apply a little bit extra just because I want you to be able to see it better. The one thing that's very different about the packaging is that the Patrick Ta formula has a plastic shield over the cream product, which is really nice because you don't get any of the powder mixed into it. Now, before I show these to you, I want to go over the edges with my foundation brush. This is the Catrice side, and this is the Patrick Ta side. The one thing I have noticed is that the Catrice blush has seemed to disappear a little bit more than the Patrick Ta blush, which leads me to feel that the Patrick Ta blush is probably a little bit more pigmented than the Catrice blush, but they both are really very lovely. I think if you'd want the Catrice blush to be more long-lasting, you'd probably have to apply a couple of layers. I'd love to know if you notice any major differences between the two sides other than the slight, very slight color variation. Now, of course, two other great blush dupes are the Rare Beauty liquid blushes and the e.l.f. Camel liquid blushes. These are really close dupes, especially in terms of color. I compared them in an earlier video, which I'll link in the pinned comment below and also in the description box in case you would like more information on these dupes. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd give more information to YouTube about whether you're liking today's video. And you can do that by hitting that thumbs up icon below and also subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you. The two highlighters that I want to compare today are Rare Beauty's Positive Light Liquid Luminizer and Hard Candy's Just Glow Vitamin Infused Luminizer. According to the website information, the Rare Beauty Luminizer is made in Italy, comes in 8 shades, is a weightless formula that has super fine light-catching pearls, lasts all day, and layers well over other makeup. It costs $27 and is 0.50 fluid ounces. The Hard Candy Just Glow Vitamin Infused Luminizer is $9, comes in 3 shades, is also lightweight, and is infused with niacinamide, vitamin C and E, and grapeseed oil to boost the radiance. Let's apply the Rare Beauty Luminizer first on the left side. Now I have 2 shades, as you saw. One of them is a pinker shade called Enchant, and the other is called Mesmerize. I'm going to go with the pinker shade. And I'm just going to dot this on. And it blends in really easily. Now let's apply the Hard Candy Luminizer. And this comes in a pump rather than a doe foot. I'm going to apply again just 3 dots. And this shade is not as pink, it's more of a champagne color. And it glides on equally well. I think I may have put a little bit more of the Rare Beauty one on, so I'm going to add a little bit here. So this is the Hard Candy Luminizer, and this is the Rare Beauty. Now I will say that the Rare Beauty glided on a little bit more easily than the Hard Candy Luminizer, but they both went on very well. I am seeing a little bit brighter glow with the Rare Beauty product, but it may just be because it's a lighter, brighter pink color. I also want to compare 2 lip glosses, even though they aren't quite the same shade. But first, I'll head off camera and apply my concealer around my lips, my lip liner, as well as my lipstick. The 2 lip glosses I want to compare are from Lawless and the drugstore brand Essence. 95% of Essence products are manufactured in Europe, and ingredients comply with the strict standards of the European Union Cosmetics Directive and the US FDA. And the brand Lawless is also a clean beauty product. And by the way, I found out during the course of this video that Essence and Catrice are owned by the same company. To get roughly the same color as the Essence Extreme Shine Gloss in purple, I'll combine the Lawless gloss in the shade Lavender Bloom and then apply the Lawless Pearlized Gloss in Dazette over it. And I'll apply that on my top lip only. The Lawless glosses are 0.11 fluid ounces, made in the US, and are not tested on animals. Here is the Essence gloss on top. Underneath it is Dazette, which is Lawless, and then underneath that is Violet Bloom. And it turns out that I really don't need to use the Violet Bloom because I think the 2 glosses on their own are very similar. I'm going to apply Dazette from Lawless on my top lip, and I do want you to see how different the applicator is for this gloss. The Lawless gloss is on my top lip and the Essence gloss on my bottom lip, but there are 2 very big differences. I definitely prefer the applicator of the Lawless gloss because of its shape and the amount of product that it dispenses, but as for the lip gloss itself, I think they're both absolutely stunning. And here's a final look at each side of my face. This is the side where I used high-end products with the Lawless high-end gloss on my top lip. And this is the side of my face with the drugstore products with the Essence gloss on the bottom lip. Well, I hope you found today's video helpful. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you could see any differences between how the high-end products looked versus how any of the drugstore products looked. And if you'd like to see more great drugstore products in action that truly rival high-end products, be sure to check out this video, which is pinned below. Until next time, I wish you good health and happiness, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Take care.